This secret of packed thought forms brings us to our third secret, that the sacred geometric structures of the human energy body are keys to access our latent spiritual powers. The difference between an ordinary person and a spiritual adept is that the latter has an energy field which is highly activated and sacred geometrically structured. This makes available to them higher states of consciousness and other powers, which appear magical to ordinary people who are stuck in dense, toxic energy fields. For this reason, hidden traditions of initiation around the world train their students to understand where the key spiritual centers are in their energy field and how to activate them. This knowledge of the sacred geometry structures of the human energy system opens up a hidden world which controls health and illness, our mind and emotions, and our latent spiritual potential. There are many different sacred geometry structures in our energy bodies. It's a huge science in itself. Let's clarify now just a few structures which provide the background we need for the powerful energy activation practice you will learn at the end of this episode. The primary energy axis of our body is our central column of energy, which runs in the absolute vertical midline of our body, from the crown center to the perineum at the base of the abdomen. This central column is not the same as the spinal energy circuit described in many traditions. The very existence of this midline central column was kept secret by many traditions, and it features prominently in many of the most powerful spiritual activation practices. In the exact center of the central column runs a golden thread of divine energy, which holds the original unity energy of the divine plane inside the central column in our body. The 7 primary energy centers on our central column are known today by their Indian name, chakras, meaning wheel, because they appear on the front and back of the body as spinning vortices of energy. For the 5 chakras from the third eye, or ajna center, in the head, down to the sexual chakra, the vortices at each of these 5 chakras are paired up in the front and the back of the body. The tips of the 2 vortices meet at the golden thread in the very center of the central column. The very top and bottom chakras along the central channel in our body, the crown, or Sahasrara center, and the base, or Muladhara center, are connected together in their own vertical vortex pair right on the central column itself. Our central column continues down from the perineum at the base of the abdomen to go between our legs and then below our feet into the earth to ground us, and also continues in the opposite direction above the human head to connect us to higher consciousness centers. The energy centers in our physical body can only hold a certain intensity level of power. Otherwise, their high level of voltage would burn out the smaller subtle energy circuits in the human body, which are referred to as nadis in the Indian tradition. However, energy centers in our subtle energy field outside of our physical body can hold much higher energy intensity. This means that the true energy centers we need to activate in order to fully perceive, create, and transmit packed thought forms are actually outside the physical body, in our greater energy field. However, before we can activate these higher centers outside of the physical body in a balanced way, we must activate and have our spirit fully inhabit the key chakras in our body. In our modern culture, which is very intellectual and thinking-centric, the third eye chakra is often the first chakra to be activated. The third eye chakra is named ajna in Sanskrit, which means both to perceive and to command. We can use the mind power and light generated by the activated third eye chakra to help activate all the other chakras in the body and energy field. The third eye chakra is often misunderstood in Western circles to be an energy center only in the front of the head between the eyebrows. But as we have seen, there's actually a front and back vortex pair connecting at the third eye chakra. In reality, the third eye is a multi-dimensional geometric structure which runs as a horizontal cylinder of energy from between the eyebrows, connects to the central column in the center of the head, and then continues through to the back of your head. Just as the three 90-degree axes of space define the three-dimensional physical world, so it defines the sacred space in the center of the third eye cylinder. We can call the three axes of space the cubical cross, because it is a cross in 3 dimensions rather than just 2 dimensions. And this 3-axis cross is the structural infrastructure of the cube shape, connected to 3-dimensional physical manifestation. The first axis of the cubical cross in the head is the front-back axis just mentioned, the horizontal cylinder of energy running from between the eyebrows to the area of the bump in the back of your head. The second 90-degree axis is the top-down vertical line of the central column we discussed previously. The third axis is the side-to-side axis. This can be experienced by putting your attention at the top of both ears and becoming aware of an axis running through the 2 brain hemispheres and the corpus callosum between the hemispheres. Where these 3 axes meet in the cubical cross of our head is at the location of the 3rd ventricle of the brain. This is a key spiritual center in the human body, called the Cave of Brahma in the Indian tradition. This is a large open area of the brain through which flows the cerebrospinal fluid, a true water of life. The cerebrospinal fluid is a completely different bodily fluid system than the blood or the lymph systems. It is literally a liquid ocean which pulses through the human spine and brain, making life and movement possible in the human body. On the periphery of the 3rd ventricle, within this liquid ocean, are both the pineal and the pituitary glands. These glands are understood in classical traditions to be the key anchors for spiritual development in the human body, in addition to their powerful physical functions as sources of neurotransmitters and body-regulating secretions. By activating the center area of the cubical cross in the head, the Cave of Brahma, your entire head system is both activated and stabilized. Activating the Cave of Brahma also ignites other energy activations throughout the entire human energy field.